The scenes were unbelievable as Dustin Martin took in the 92,000 people who came to the MCG to honour him. His 300th game started with a bang as he, in his own terms, kicked an old school goal which caused an eruption of cheers in the stands. The day showed how important Martin has been not only to the Tigers but to football and the drawing power of an individual. But the game itself didn't really match the occasion. Martin touched the ball just 13 times, and after the quarter time break, Hawthorn were far superior. But some of the best games and individual performances have come on special milestone occasions. We start with a champion's 200th game. Ben Cousins' 200th game was in a critical round 16 home clash against previous year's grand finalist Brisbane. The team and Cousins started off with a bang. They blitzed the Lions in a first quarter demolition, with the midfield especially asserting their dominance. Cousins kicked 3 goals in the first term and gathered 10 disposals, helping give the Eagles a 42-point lead at the end of the first.
Matera, the dangerous Matera, slipping it to Cousins, game 200, looking for 3 goals in the first quarter. Yes, indeed! Oh! Time. Ben Cousins in game 200, amazingly 3 goals and 10 disposals.
The tide did begin to change, and Brisbane were back within 4 goals quickly, but Cousins, when needed, showed his balance and class in important moments. When the margin in the third was at just 21 points, Cousins kicked his 4th goal of the game to give West Coast some breathing space. The lead stayed around the 30-point mark for the rest of the game, with West Coast winning an 11th straight home game, 111-88. In total, Cousins had 30 disposals, 6 clearances, and 4 goals to get best on ground honours in his milestone game. The 3 Brownlow votes were also pivotal in his 2005 Brownlow medal win. Not many have played a better milestone game than Luke Hodge did in the 2014 Grand Final. It's rare to see milestones in Grand Finals, let alone a dominant performance. 2 years after Sydney had beaten the Hawks in the 2012 season finale, the rematch was back on. Hodge began the game on the ball and got momentum going Hawthorn's way. His little scrap kick out of congestion luckily bounced to give Jack Gunson a goal, and just 2 minutes later, Hodge took a special cricket-style mark. He missed the shot, but asserted his dominance in the first quarter. His move in the forward half during the second term was so clever. His perfectly timed handball to Langford assisted one of the best goals of the game. Then in the space of 2 minutes, Hodge put the game to bed. The first of his second quarter double came from full forward as a Jared Ruffhead scrap kick landed in between an array of Sydney defenders. He nailed the set shot and then soon after perfectly picked off a Sydney kick-in and in such a smooth style kicked the goal, showing off his class and football intelligence. The margin was all the way out at 47 points just halfway through the second term, leaving the Swans stunned. From then on, Hodge plonked himself at halfback and essentially controlled the entire game. It was like watching a great quarterback move up and down the field at his own tempo. Hawthorn and their captain were so comfortable that Hodge cheekily gave a parting gift to his former teammate in Lance Franklin. Hodge finished the game with 35 disposals, 21 of them kicks, 12 marks, 4 clearances and 2 goals. He won the Norm Smith medal to go alongside his 3rd premiership and 2nd as captain. With 5 minutes left in the 3rd term of a 2013 round 13 game between Brisbane and Geelong, Steve Johnson popped home a goal to set the margin at 52 points. The game had played out till this point as no surprise. Geelong had lost 1 game on the year, while the Lions were sitting in the bottom 4. Ashley McGrath kicked 2 goals, but his 200th was not looking like much of a celebration. A couple Brisbane goals just before the end of the third had the margin back at 38 points, but the threat of a comeback, especially against the quality of the opposition, didn't look possible. Almost 5 minutes into the last quarter, and a couple misses from the Cats had the margin sitting at 40 points. But things took a quick turn. 3 long-range bombs from Brisbane in the space of 5 minutes, cut the lead to 20 points. The atmosphere began to shift inside the Gabba. Johnson quickly hushed the crowd with his response, but another 2 Lion goals in quick succession, the second of which was a huge kick from Maloney, who started in the last quarter, put Brisbane well within reach. By the time there was a touch under 2 minutes left, a young Daniel Rich tied up the scores. The next sequence of events would go down in AFL history. I'm not sure a lot of people remember, but Geelong was still in the box seat to win. Tom Hawkins took a strong mark deep in the pocket and just had to score. He did, but it was a behind and gave the ball back to Brisbane. Geelong held the ball in their half, but with 20 seconds left, Brisbane rebounded with speed. Adcock took a mark in the centre of the Gabba, and his perfect handball set up Dane Zorko, who laced out the man of the moment in Ash McGrath. Now a point would still get the Lions a draw, but the pressure was still palpable. He let it rip from outside 50, and it never looked like missing. The crowd went nuts, and the Brisbane players mauled McGrath in celebration. It was at the time the 8th largest comeback ever seen. It was even more impressive since it began late in the third quarter. The milestone man in McGrath kicked the most clutch goal of his career, which was his third of the night. 15 seconds from deep in defence to a shot on goal to win the game. Out of all the milestone matches, this might be number one, not only for the quality of the match itself, but the crucial involvement of the player. What is a certainty is this father-son duo combination in game 150. Now Ablett Sr. and Ablett Jr. didn't play together in their 150th, but parallel, it's hard to judge who had the better milestone game. Let's start with Sr., who had his 150th in round 4 of 1992 as West Coast hosted Geelong at Subiaco Oval. Ablett's first 3 games for the season were okay. In total, he had kicked 7 goals and not dipped below 18 disposals. But Geelong had 1 win and were facing an Eagles side who were runners-up in the previous year's grand final. Playing either high half forward or deeper inside 50, it was an Ablett massacre. After quarter time, Geelong kicked 16 goals to 10, with Ablett kicking 5 of them. There were stages in the game when he's running through and around opposition players with his sheer force. He had 36 disposals on the day, a season high by 9, and took 8 marks to go alongside his scoreboard contribution. Geelong won the game 131-107, but did end up losing that season's grand final to the Eagles. As good as Senior's game was, Ablett Jr. might have topped it. Now footage of this game is hard to find, but there are a couple highlights. The all-conquering Cats visited Adelaide in round 4 2009 and were flying. Ablett had a party of his own in the demolition. He did his damage early, kicking these 2 ripping goals.
What can Johnson do here? Into the pocket. That's a good kick to Ablett.
Oh, gee, crunched him at the end there. No 50-metre penalty.
Got to make him earn it, Robert.
Yeah, well, they did in the old days, quarters, but you never know now. Will he have a crack or will he try to set someone up?
We're about to find out on the left foot. It's a good effort. That is magical.
Incredible.
What a start.
Started up forward for the Adelaide Crows. He's now playing on Mooney.
He handballs to Ablett from a very difficult angle. No way. He's got another one.
In the 48-point win, Ablett gathered 46 disposals, 4 clearances and kicked 3 goals. His disposal and goal tally were both season highs, almost mirroring his father's 150th. Both were away games in round 4 and resulted in big wins. The best ever father-son duo surely have the best pair of milestone games.